This is the reading of the probability and statistics final exam. I am going to read the questions and I will only read the answers if the answers are sentences. I will not read the answers if they are just numbers. On the first page, the directions say to use the data in the table below for questions 1 through 5. Assume that the table represents an SRS of 40 WHS students classified by gender and by whether they prefer to bring their lunch or to buy it at school. Go ahead and fill out the empty parts of the table and then use that table to answer questions 1 through 5. Question 1, find the probability that a randomly chosen student buys lunch. You can choose from the 4 answers below. Number 2, find the probability that a randomly chosen student buys lunch given that they're female. You can choose from the 4 answers below. Number 3, since the probabilities in number 1 and number 2 are different, we can conclude that A, the events buy lunch and being female are independent. Part B, that the events buy lunch and being female are not independent. Choice C, knowing a subject is female has no effect on the likelihood of buying lunch. Choice D, the events buy lunch and being female are complements. Number 4, find the probability that a randomly chosen student is male and brings his lunch. Number 5, of the 25 males surveyed, if 2 are chosen without replacement, what is the likelihood that both bring their lunch to school? And you can choose from the 4 ways to calculate that answer below. On the next page, the directions say use the histogram below for questions 6 and 7. Question 6, the shape of the distribution above is A, skewed right, B, skewed left, C, approximately bell-shaped, or D, symmetric. Number 7, using the histogram for number 6 above, it is likely that A, the shape does not suggest how the mean and median might be related. Choice B, the mean is equal to the median. Choice C, the mean is less than the median. Or choice D, the mean is greater than the median. Number 8, in order to determine interest in a new course offering, the counseling center surveys the first 50 students that visit, regardless of the reason. Example, maybe they're meeting with their counselor, picking up a form, etc. This is an example of choice A, simple random sample. Choice B, simulated sample. Choice C, convenience sample. Or choice D, voluntary response sample. Number 9, what percent of the data in a distribution should be at or above the value being traced, marked by the X, in the box and whisker plot above? I'm going to read that one again. What percent of the data in a distribution should be at or above the value being traced? It's marked by the X in the picture in the box and whisker plot below. Two things with that one. The box and whisker plot is below the question and the question says above. So that is my mistake. And another thing, that A should not be capitalized. That makes it weird. So let me read it again. The A should not be capitalized. So what percent of the data in a distribution should be at or above the value that's marked by the X in the box and whisker plot below? On the next page, number 10, in a blank sample, every sample of the same blank has the same chance of being selected. Choice A has the first blank being simple random and the second blank being likelihood. Choice B has the first blank as simple random and the second blank as size. Choice C has convenience as the first blank and the second blank being size. Part D has the first blank as voluntary response and the second blank as probability. Number 11, a z-score of z equals negative 1.5 represents a data value from a distribution that is A, 1.5 means below the standard deviation. B is 1.5 standard deviations below the mean. C is 1.5 standard deviations above the mean. Or choice D is 1.5 means above the standard deviation. Number 12, a teacher is trying to determine if participating in high school athletics gives students an advantage in being accepted to the college that is their first preference. The teacher surveys 30 random seniors who have applied to college and asks them whether they participated in high school athletics and whether or not they were accepted to the college that was their first preference. This is an example of A, an experiment, or B, an observational study. Number 13, assume that 12 of 35 individuals from a random sample of WHS students indicated that they were NFL fans. The sample can be considered representative of the WHS student population because A, the sample size is also the size of a possible classroom of students. B, Westfield is close to Indianapolis, which is the home of an NFL team. C, the sample is a random sample from the population of WHS students. Or D, 12 out of 35 is close to 36%, and there are 32 NFL teams. Number 14, which of the following are resistant to outliers? A, the median and the IQR. B, the mean and the standard deviation. C, the median and standard deviation. D, the range and the IQR. Number 15, consider a large number of countries around the world. There is a positive correlation between the number of laptops per 1,000 people, we're going to call that X, and the average life expectancy, we're going to call that Y. Does this mean that we could increase the life expectancy in Rwanda by shipping laptops to that country? A, no. If the correlation were negative, we could accept that conclusion, but this correlation is positive. B, no. The positive correlation just shows that richer countries have both more laptops and higher life expectancies. We don't know if there is causation. C, yes, the positive correlation means that if we ship more laptops, we can expect an increase in life expectancy. D, yes, the correlation says that as laptops go up, it causes life expectancy to go up. Number 16, the United Nations has data on the percent of adult males and females who are illiterate in 142 countries. The correlation between male illiteracy rate and female illiteracy rate is R equals 0.945. This tells us that A, countries with high male illiteracy tend to also have high female illiteracy, and the relationship is very strong. B, countries with high male illiteracy tend to also have high female illiteracy, but the two are only weakly related. C, countries with high male illiteracy tend to have low female illiteracy, and the relationship is very strong. Choice D, countries with high male illiteracy tend to have low female illiteracy, but the two are only weakly related. Moving on to part 2, the short answer questions. Number 17, suppose a high school guidance counselor wants to find out the proportion of students at his high school who have tried alcohol. He sends out an email to 200 randomly chosen students asking them if they have tried alcohol. Of the 92 that responded, 6% said they had tried alcohol. Part A wants you to describe how non-response might lead to bias in this study. Part B wants you to describe how response bias might lead to bias in this study. Choice C, is the sample proportion of 6% likely greater than or less than the actual proportion of students at the school who have tried alcohol? Explain. Number 18, a random sample of 200 patients is taken from a large medical clinic, and each is classified as to whether or not they took an omega-3 fish oil tablet daily. It was found that those who consumed an omega-3 tablet every day had lower cholesterol levels than those who did not. Question A, is this an experiment or an observational study? B, explain how confounding variables may impact the results of the study. C, it was found that there was a statistically significant difference in cholesterol levels between those who took omega-3 fish oil tablets every day and those who did not. Can we generalize the results to all patients at the large medical clinic? Explain. Question D, can we conclude that taking an omega-3 fish oil tablet every day causes a reduction in cholesterol levels? Explain your reasoning. Number 19, the 5-number summary, I'm going to start over. The 5-number summary for the results from a recent test in a high school geometry class are presented below. These are real data. Calculate the range and IQR of the data and circle whether or not these are measures of the center or the spread of the data. The 5-number summary has a minimum of 61, Q1 equal to 68.5, median equal to 78.5, Q3 equal to 87.5, maximum equal to 98. The range equals blank, fill in the blank. IQR equals blank, fill in the blank. Then circle 1. These are measures of center or spread. Circle either center or circle spread. Finally, on the last page, number 20, the bar chart shows the distribution of favorite subjects for a sample of 1,000 high school juniors. Explain how this graph is misleading.